So I met a man at work by the name of Felix. He's a Spanish speaker. Comes into the break room, says, "Que velava aquí?" I don't know anything about Spanish. He says, "No hablo inglés." Keeps on conversating with me in Spanish. "No hablo inglés." Keeps conversating with me in Spanish. I said to him, "No hablo español." Now at this point, we're at the point of I'm saying to him, "Cuidado, cuidado," over and over again. Every time I interact with him. He doesn't speak English. He pretends not to speak English. But he had the ability to ask me, "Are you working tomorrow?" And then say, "Mañana." So in English, he says, "Are you working tomorrow? Mañana?" Standing outside in the back of the building, lining up carts. Now I'm going down to attend to a cart, and he's saying, "Got it." So obviously his intention is to be outside and be seen. Today I go outside. I tell the manager that I'm going in the back to attend to the things that are lined up back there. And the guy, I told him I don't speak Spanish, yet he says no, and pulls out the furniture that I just put into a cart. He also likes to speak Spanish in public. So who knows what he's saying? He could be saying anything about me or anyone, and I don't know what he's saying. So today I bring up that issue to one of my managers, and she gets kind of upset because she thinks that she can't tell her worker who and who not to interact with. So she gets on the radio and makes it a situation about her when it wasn't, and says to the other manager that I told her to shut up, which I didn't. I told her to tell her worker to stop talking to me. She also said in a meeting that I called him a Mexican, but I definitely didn't. I called him a Spanish speaker. She also asked me if I had a problem with her. If I had a problem with her, we wouldn't be talking. We're having conversation. She also walked out of the store with her husband and said, "That's him." And then her husband looks at me in the parking lot. This is on camera. You can see it. Approximately 3:10 p.m. on March 25th, 2017. I suspect that this woman is using illicit substances because she has bruises on her arms. There's old people that work there that move weight that don't have bruises on their arms. Another reason I suspect this, she's so emotional. She's worried about whether or not she's going to get all this work done. But the reality is you're on the clock. What's there to worry about? You're getting paid. And she had the nerve to say over and over, "Linen, linen, linen," because I'm taking out a bag of property and sorting it out in a bag that it doesn't, a bin that it doesn't belong in, because that's just how I was doing it. So she's trying to micromanage and then taking me off of my task to go put me into another task that somebody's already working on. So we end up getting in the way of each other. And then there's another lady that's saying, "Don't involve me in any of this." Well, sorry. You are at work. You're involved in this whether or not you want to be involved in it. Because your manager told me to come and go to an area where you are, and we ended up almost interrupting each other with our movement. She's throwing shoes on the ground, trying to get all the boxes emptied faster. She's not orderly. You know, she's making all these choices and then creating more work for everyone and wasting more time. Not to mention she gets on the radio and calls a manager's meeting when there's no need for a manager's meeting. I brought you attention about a situation that happened. There's no reason for you to interrogate me later on in the meeting about what I said when you weren't around, when I said attitude is the problem. But she used the word issue. There's multiple times in this conversation that we've had that she's been using terms, saying that I said something and not being able to say the exact term that I said. And here's why it's so important. Because if you call someone a Mexican, that's referring to nationality. If you say that someone is a Spanish speaker, you're talking about the language that they're speaking. There's no discrimination. If you say that there is an issue, that is different than there being a problem. If you say that there's a problem, you're insinuating that, do you want to fight, basically. That's when you go up to someone and say, is there a problem? That's like a serious statement. That's a lot more serious than saying, is there an issue? When you say that someone tells you to shut up, but they don't, they tell someone else that they tell you that you need to tell someone else to stop talking to me, that is totally different than telling you to shut up. But she used that statement so that she could get a manager's meeting called. And then we're sitting in the meeting room, and then someone is saying, well, everyone has an agenda. But the reality is that we all do have an agenda. We're at work. That's our agenda, is to accomplish their job. And then some people have their agenda. They want to hold their job. And the guy is pretending to speak only Spanish, but he asked me, are you working tomorrow? So he can say, I don't speak English, but then he'll come up to me and ask me in conversation a question to try to get information out of me. And he'll throw his hands in my face like this when he's speaking Spanish. I have nothing to say to him. And I thought that when we had got off the clock last night, I was scheduled to work until 8. That's when I got off. These other workers before me know the procedure. They know not to get off the clock unless if their manager says to get off the clock. But I didn't. I wasn't instructed about that. So someone used me so that they could get off the clock. And I think that this man that speaks Spanish was having a conversation because I heard someone say key or K. I heard him say K. And not okay in English, I'm saying K. So I'm pretty sure that they were speaking Spanish in that back room. I will not incriminate myself at this point. The reason why I'm recording this video is because there is a possibility that one of these fools will try to make a suit against the company or myself for slander. When in all reality, what was said never mentioned the name of the person, and what was said might be the truth. It might be the truth. And I also rephrased the statement later on and said, I suspect. And it's a pretty good allegation to make. When you have bruises on your arms and you're so worried about losing your job and you have the nerve to bring your husband outside of the store after you leave the clock, that's a pretty good allegation to make. And when you have the nerve to say that somebody told you to shut up when they didn't, and that someone's calling someone a Mexican when they didn't, that's a pretty good allegation to make. There's a lot of disorder there. Thank you.